During World War II, Japanese forces engaged in brutal and inhumane treatment of Allied prisoners of war, POWs, with one of the most horrifying practices being the beheading of POWs. This occurred across various regions, particularly in the Pacific Theater, where Japanese soldiers adhered to the Bushido Code, which stressed loyalty, honor, and disdain for surrender. They viewed surrender as dishonorable, so captured enemy soldiers were often treated with contempt and subjected to torture and execution. One of the most infamous instances of POW beheadings happened after the Bataan Death March in 1942, where tens of thousands of American and Filipino soldiers, already weakened by starvation and exhaustion, were forced to march over 60 miles in brutal conditions. Many of those who fell behind or attempted to escape were executed on the spot, often by beheading with a sword. Throughout the war, Japanese officers and soldiers beheaded POWs both as a form of punishment and as part of their military culture, which honored the samurai tradition. Some executions were carried out for disciplinary reasons, while others were done for sheer brutality or as demonstrations of power. Officers sometimes even engaged in competitions to see who could behead prisoners the fastest or with the cleanest cut, turning executions into morbid spectacles. Australian, British, Dutch, and American POWs were frequently the victims of these beheadings. For example, during the Battle of Guadalcanal, captured Allied soldiers were beheaded in grisly acts of violence, often before being subjected to further mutilation. Beheading was also used as a form of psychological warfare, meant to demoralize enemy troops and send a message of fear to those who continued fighting. The reasons behind these executions were deeply tied to Japan's militaristic and cultural values at the time. The Bushido Code, which glorified death over surrender, made POWs seem dishonorable in the eyes of their captors. Furthermore, wartime propaganda dehumanized the Allies, fueling cruel treatment. After the war, many Japanese officers and soldiers involved in these atrocities were tried for war crimes during the Tokyo War Crimes trials. Beheadings of POWs remain a symbol of the extreme cruelty suffered by Allied forces in the Pacific during World War II, adding to the long list of war crimes committed by the Japanese military during the conflict.